Well, well, well. It's 2019. You know what that means? We have to reflect now on 2018. I'm sure you've probably seen since the Oscar nominations for Best Picture come out, a lot of best of last year lists coming out for films. Oh, by the way, the conference championships are going on right now. A big congratulations to...
Sorry to inform you, but we will not be making that joke this year. Congratulations to the AFC champion, New England Patriots, and NFC champion, former St. Louis Rams, who now play in La La Land. If you want highlights, go to the NFL channel here on YouTube. Back to the program.
Anyway, let's get to our list. Number 9. This film did not get a lot of press or coverage. I actually had to go see it at a small independent theater in Fort Lauderdale. This is Mari Okada's directorial debut. She's a storyboard artist, and for her debut, this is a very impressive beginning. I hope to see more films by her. The film's about a young girl who's 14, just turned it. She's a lorf. What is a lorf? I'm going to use Lord of the Rings terminology here. A lorf is a cross between a hobbit and an elf. They look like elves, but they're small like hobbits. At 14, they stop aging. They're immortal. Now, this seems like your basic, run-of-the-mill fantasy. There's an evil empire, a bunch of dragon riders conquering places. In this film, a bunch of dragon riders invade the Lorf village, taking women, and basically destroy the village. Makia actually founds a dying dragon. The dragons, by the way, are dying off. They have a disease called red eye. In this case, they basically go up in flames. She ends up accidentally hitching a ride with one. She's taken out into the middle of nowhere. She finds a tent with a dead mother grasping onto her newborn child who's crying. Maki is able to pry away the child who's crying. This is where the film is basically very different. Like a lot of films, you have two people from different races coming in a loving relationship, but in this case, a mother-son relationship. She ends up raising the child, and you're basically going on the entire journey from this child's infancy all the way to the end. I was stunned, even though in fact I saw all the stuff coming, that I ended up crying at the end. I highly recommend you go watch this with your mother, and then thank her for all the things she did for you. This film will be coming out on DVD within the next couple of months. I highly recommend you going on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, or Walmart to get it. Number 8. Guillermo del Toro's masterpiece. This film is really insane. And that's probably the reason why it won Best Picture. Now, people want to bring up the fact that, yeah, you had literally a woman having sex with a fish. And yeah, that did happen in this film. Also, that same fish person did a complete song and dance number in the same film. By the way, big props to the guy in the fish suit. Imagine that being in your job description. This film, I had to be in a suit the whole time, be underwater most of the time. Oh, and then I had to perform a love scene as well as a full song and dance number. That would make most Broadway plays very jealous. Also, big props to Michael Shannon. He did an excellent job as the adversary here. He usually does a very good job being an antagonist. But in this case, excellent job. Number 7. Here it is, the Rocky IV sequel we've all waited for over 30 years. Rocky IV, a time capsule from the Cold War 1980s, where The underdog American who's fought and fights over and over has to take on the big Russian bear and ultimately defeats him in the Soviet Union. Now, of course, this film has a lot of plot points from Rocky IV, but also some plot points from Rocky II. First off, I have to give Michael B. Jordan big props on this film. Another great performance this year from Michael B. Jordan. His Adonis Creed character went through a journey, not just of redemption, but also a journey into married life and even fatherhood. I did a review in the parking garage. If you remember, I do recommend you to please go watch that video. I went into a lot more detail in that review. I was also impressed that they were able to give Ivan Drago an entire character arc. Don't forget, Ivan Drago is a guy who was completely destroyed by the fall of the Soviet Union. He's just a guy living in an apartment with his son. His son's the supposed antagonist, basically helping him train to become a boxer. He's a man of few words, but in those few words, he goes through an entire character arc. I'm very impressed what they were able to do with him. This film I know will be coming out in DVD as well as iTunes and Google Play. I say give this one definitely a check out. This is definitely one of the best films of the year. One of the best sequels of the year as well. Number 6. Another film by Mamoru Hosoda, the director of A Girl Who Left Through Time and Wolf Children. One thing Hosoda is very good at is writing main characters and putting them on interesting and extraordinary journeys. This time the main character is a 2-year-old boy, and we actually get to see him time travel. He ends up meeting his future sister, and he ends up actually taking a nice travel through his entire family history. He meets his mother when she was his age. He meets his great-grandfather, who is a war veteran, and he even goes to the future. Now, you probably remember in this channel, there was a Jackass of a Saitama t-shirt in a car, very blackened parking lot. That review, I pretty much said everything you need to know. I strongly recommend you to go out and find it on DVD, especially when it comes out. And this will unfortunately be the final anime film that is on the list. Number 2 through 6. Yeah, we're doing all the Marvel films, all 5 of them. That's over 3 completely different companies. Walt Disney, Fox, Sony. I guess this only makes sense to start with the first film that came out this year, Black Panther. A great film by Marvel Studios. This film has some great elements, including some awesome spy action scenes. Looking for the Vibranium. Trying to get it back. Interesting part about it, it had one of the best Marvel villains ever. Michael B. Jordan, once again, puts off an excellent performance, conveying the plight of Warmonger. Warmonger, don't forget, is a lesser-known villain, but here, one of the best villains of the year. Next up, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Another humorous, but very action-packed and emotional film. Paul Rudd is still great as Ant-Man. The main antagonist, Ghost, was actually a pretty interesting character. Lawrence Fishburne was good, so was Michael Douglas. Another great entry into the Marvel Universe. And by the way, this is also a surprise sequel to Infinity War. Now I guess I gotta talk about Fox's Deadpool 2. Another great film by Ryan Reynolds. I particularly love the action scenes, but the humor, once again, excellent. Just mocking the superhero genre. Also a great performance by Josh Brolin, who plays Cable in this film. You'll be hearing his name a couple more times before we're finished. Well, now we continue our lightning round. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Oh, Disney, you missed out with Phil Lord. I always say this, never doubt Phil Lord. His Lego movie was great, and so is Spider-Man to Spider-Verse. This film was one of the best animated films of the year. Maybe the best American animated film of the year. It presented characters that I knew very little about. Like, I didn't know who Penny Parker was. I want to know more about her. Shadow Spider. Wow, I'd actually like to see a movie about Gwen Stacy as Spider-Man. Now I gotta talk about the biggest Marvel film of the year, and it is the best Marvel film of the year. Avengers 3: Infinity War. The more I watched this film, the more I liked it. Now, I remember back in Omaha, I gave this an A-. I am completely wrong on that. It is an A+. Solid. Josh Brolin. Thanos is the best villain of the year. And to me, with an ensemble cast as it was, the decision to make Thanos the main character of the film really was the best decision Marvel ever made. They were building up to this character for how many films? You had Guardians of the Galaxy, the first Avengers, the second Avengers. And the fact that they were able to pull this off is amazing. We were able to see Thanos go through an entire emotional arc. To me, that's what made this the second best film of the year. Also, a lot of great superhero action from the characters we've come to love from Marvel. Thor's still good, Iron Man's still good, Spider-Man's still good, Black Panther's still good. I could keep going on. But it's Thanos. Best movie of the year. I was very excited to hear that Brad Bird was going to return to do another Incredibles. And I was not disappointed at all. It clearly was the best animated film of the year, best film of the year. This film presented the family element better than the previous film. It presented just how hard it is being a parent at home. Making sure the kids are fed, doing well at school, nurtured. This film's action, by the way, was also superb. And this in spite of the fact that the villain was not very good. This film was definitely not Syndrome. And in spite of that, we had some stellar action. Helen Parr, aka Alaska Girls, was one of the film's highlights. And quite frankly, I could see like a superhero film based completely on her. She was very charismatic. She was very enticing. I particularly love the fact how she was able to do a sleuth. She found every last aspect of a case. Even the characters who were only on camera to 5 to 10 minutes were also very interesting. I particularly loved the girl who could make portals. Of course, the other returning characters were also very good, especially Samuel L. Jackson's Frozone. Now, of course, you know, there's a big shake-up going on at Pixar, and it doesn't look like it's going to be around much longer. If this happens to be one of Pixar's final films, it's a great film to go out on. I mean, I'm still praying there'll be an Incredibles 3 just to conclude the trilogy. And there we go. We just entered the end of our list. But before we go, I do have an honorable mention. Jonah Hill's directorial debut, mid-90s. A great film. A great slice of life involving skateboarders. And now that we've concluded the list, it's not like I have any other list to do for 2019.